Hi, everyone. My name is Don Farber with DataSelf Analytics. I am joined by Joni Girardi, CEO and founder of DataSelf. I'd like to welcome you to our presentation on making better business decisions for your ERP solution. This presentation will take roughly 30 minutes. We're going to divide it into three sections. The first will be a business level overview about how you can use analytics to improve the value of the decisions you make out of your ERP solution. We'll follow that with a brief product demo provided by my colleague, Joni Girardi, and we'll end up with about 5 minutes or so at the end for any questions that come in. So without further ado, let's get right to it. A little bit about DataSelf Analytics. We've been around since 2005. We were founded by my colleague and DataSelf CEO and founder, Joni Girardi. Our mission from day one has been to enable clients to make more timely and more informed business decisions. And the way we do that is by providing a technology that's a trinity of capabilities. First of all, we provide a next generation data optimization engine, industry-leading BI tools such as Microsoft Power BI and Tableau. And finally, we complete that with the industry's largest report and dashboard template library. We'll get into more details about all of those as we go through today's presentation. But for now, I'd like to start off by turning things over to DataSelf CEO and founder Joni Girardi to talk about some of the challenges you might have in reporting out of your ERP solution.
Thank you, Don. This is Joni Girardi. I've been working with mid-sized organizations and helping them make more informed decisions for about 20 years, and for 17 years as DataSelf founder and CEO. And primarily every single client or prospect that knocks on our door, they have the following challenges. Business users complaining that they are kind of flying blind. Many times they have questions about their business. They have to make a decision now, and they're not going to be able to get the answer because they have to call someone else or they have to wait until a report runs. So a common complaint from them is flying blind, not having easy access to their data anytime and anywhere. Also, a major complaint is reports in general, reports and dashboards in general are just too time consuming. It takes a lot of effort of business analysts, of people in the back end that takes hours, days, and sometimes weeks to get certain reports done, refreshed, and distributed. It's just too time consuming. And third is just the speed of reporting. When the management wants to see some KPIs or reports now, they usually want to see now. And if they have to open a report, click a refresh button and wait, and have to wait for too long, quite often they don't wait. They have to just make a decision and move on. In our standard, too long is more than 10 seconds. If you press a refresh button on a report and it takes more than 10 seconds, guess what? Many business users will not wait. They'll wing it, or they will not make the best decisions. And those are the main pain points people come to us in, where we can help them take their reporting and management decision-making to the next level. Don, back to you.
Thanks, Joni. I'd like to continue our conversation by talking about the two kinds of reports that an ERP solution needs to provide. The first of those are referred to as staff-oriented reports, and I tend to look at those as providing the little picture into your ERP data, and that's why we have the microscope here as our analogy, because the focus here is on the completion of tasks by your staff members, keeping your staff informed about what they need to do now, as well as allowing them to track what they have done in the past day, week, or month, and what needs to be done within the upcoming days, weeks, or months. And good examples of these staff-oriented reports are things like today's shipments, stock status report, AR aging, and invoices processed today. These staff-oriented reports are typically the kinds of reports that you get out of your ERP solution, whether that's NetSuite, Sage, Acumatica, or any of the ERP solutions available today. Now, the second kind of reports that you need to get out of your ERP are management-oriented reports. And they provide what I like to talk about as the big picture or the telescope view into your ERP data. These reports are designed for management, and they're designed to allow management to make better, more timely, more informed business decisions. They provide key performance indicators that not only show what's been going on in your business, but why it's been going on, trends and things of that nature. Good examples of these management-oriented reports are things like high-risk receivables debt, inventory projection, sales rep growth analysis, negative cash flow projection, and year-over-year variance. These big picture reports are typically what are provided through analytics solutions. Now that begs the question, why can't you simply take your ERP's existing standard reports, those task-oriented and staff-oriented reports, and why can't you simply use them for management-oriented reporting purposes? And the answer is technology. There is a great difference in technology between standard ERP, staff-oriented reports, and management-oriented analytics, starting with a scalable data warehouse. Because when you're talking analytics, the amount of data, the volume of data, the sources from which data needs to be collected are exponentially greater. And so you need a scalable data warehouse, typically using something like SQL Server to manage and optimize that data. That data needs to be retrieved, not in minutes or hours, but in seconds. And when you do get to that data, you need to be able to drill down into it, all the way down to the transactional level of detail. Also, analytics requires a quick, easy, Google-like or natural language search technology. It needs to enable you to do what-if reporting to postulate on certain business scenarios for the future. Analytics needs to do predictive reporting, especially important if you deal with inventory, because knowing that you have enough on hand to deal with orders today is good, but even better is knowing that you have enough to deal with orders coming in this week, next week, and beyond. Finally, analytics, because of its criticality, timeliness, and devotion to managers, need to provide KPI-based alerts to let managers know when there are things that require their attention. And finally, analytics needs the ability to blend data together from multiple, not only modules within ERP, but it needs to blend data from your ERP solution to your CRM, to other solutions, to spreadsheets, and beyond. Now, specifically, DataSelf Analytics, we focus on management level reporting while at the same time providing the essential drill down capability to staff level tasks. And you'll see that in the demo provided by my colleague, Joni. So DataSelf Analytics, it really starts on the left-hand side of this illustration with limited visibility, those being the business challenges that your management is currently facing. Things like revenue shortfalls, unpredictable cash flow, and slow-paying clients. DataSelf Analytics addresses this, and we'll talk about the how in just a minute, but I'm going to draw your attention over to the extreme right-hand side of this illustration to talk about the 360-degree visibility that DataSelf Analytics provides through its reports and dashboards. So before we get into the demo, what makes DataSelf Analytics different from other analytics solutions? Three things specifically. First of all, is the power behind DataSelf is driven through a module that provides data optimization. And DataSelf is the only analytics solution on the market today that provides next generation data optimization with its patented ETL Plus tool married to a robust SQL Server data warehouse. Secondly, DataSelf Analytics provides an unprecedented ease of use through its incorporation and its support for the leading two BI solutions on the market today, both Tableau and Microsoft Power BI. Both of these available for you to choose from, providing that high level of ease of use of the industry's best BI technologies. And finally, the analytics library. DataSelf Analytics provides the largest library of reports and dashboards in the industry today, over 8,000 report and dashboard templates, as we call them. Now, of course, those 8,000 are distributed amongst all of the various ERP and CRM and related solutions that are on the market today. But this provides you with a starting point. You don't want to take an analytics solution and have to start designing every single report from scratch. With this robust library, you can use those out of the box and also use them to create custom reports and dashboards of your own. All right, so now let me turn things over to CEO and DataSelf founder, Joni Girardi, for a live product demo.
Thank you, Don. Let me share my screen. Can you see my mouse moving?
Sure can.
Thank you, Don. This is Joni Girardi again. What I'm going to show in this product presentation is focusing on what business users, decision makers get out of DataSelf. So focus is business users. Next month, we're going to be showing the business analyst experience, but today is really for business users. Commonly, business users, they have ad hoc questions about their business, and they want to find answer to their questions right now, quickly and easily by themselves. I'm going to show a few examples of how DataSelf fulfills that job. And then I'm also going to show how they can make even more sophisticated customizations in this product presentation. So the first one I'm going to show is the most empowering and easiest to use. It's called Natural Language Query. And it's just like Google. You ask a question in plain English. English is required, the only language currently supported. So you need to have at least middle school. But having English in articulating your questions, the tool will give you instant, accurate answers right off the bat. Let me show an example. I'm going to see sales by salesperson in 2022. I just wrote the question like I would do in Google. And if you noticed, the tool uses artificial intelligence machine learning to identify the data points that you wrote versus the data points available in the database to make a query in the database. As a business user, I don't care. I wrote in English, I press enter, and the tool will instantly and accurately answer the question. So showing salespeople, showing sales in a descending order in that particular time period. This report did not exist before. It was just created on the scratch to answer this ad hoc question. If I type by month, meaning I want to break down this same perspective now more granularly, press enter, and now the tool broke down by month, giving, in this case, a line chart for every salesperson using different colors, showing sales in the months of 2022. Now, many users might not like this chart. They want to see in a different representation, maybe bar chart. If you're an accountant, most likely you want to see numbers by the penny. Sure. You just choose different graphical representation, like text table. In this example, I'm looking the same information as a tabular report. And if I want to export to Excel, in a couple more clicks, I could get this data into Excel and continue my analysis. So natural language query is an amazing technology, very similar to Google. Many questions will be answered. Users will find the answers by themselves anytime and anywhere. But like in Google, it will not answer all the questions. So let me show other pieces of the technology that will also help questions where natural language query is not yet answering. I'm going to go now to the Slicer tab. The Slicer is among the top 5 most popular features out of the box in DataSelf because it's also addressing ad hoc questions, and it's like an Excel pivot table on steroids, but much easier to use. In this example right now, I'm looking sales by customer in a certain period, 3 periods, and that's what I'm showing right now. Well, what if I want to see sales by salesperson in periods 2 and 3? Well, changing the filter is pretty straightforward. So just changing periods 2 and 3, press apply. So now I change the period, but I don't want to see customer. I want to see salesperson. I just click on this slicer and I choose salesperson. Now, this list that I'm showing you comes available out of the box for your ERP system. And a business analyst can easily come and customize this list, remove, add, make changes to whatever the business people will need. once this list has been customized to your specific, slicer that you want, a business user just needs to pick and choose. So I'm going to click salesperson, and now the report became a sales by salesperson in those 2 periods. All right, that's my big picture telescope view. Well, now I want to drill down and I want to see more details. I want to see sales by salesperson by item in those 2 periods. Well, I just click this plus signal to go to the next column. Right now I already have the item, so that was easy. Sales by salesperson by item in those 2 periods. And again, I could choose a different one in case I wanted. I want to go microscope now. I want to see actually sales by salesperson by item by customer. Sure, I click plus again to go to the next column, and I pick the next dimension. It could be anyone, could be the documents, or maybe the customers. You just pick and choose, and you see the answer right in front of your eyes. Maybe you want to see a different measure. Same thing from the measures. Out of the box, we have a lot, budget variances. Let's say I want to see quantity sold, press apply, and that's it. What I just showed you primarily is the training required to get a business user fairly self-sufficient in slice and dicing this data without calling for anyone else. It's amazing how many questions can be answered using the natural language query in the slicer. All right, now I'm going to show another way of, big picture, small picture, telescope, microscope approach. Now I'm switching to the GL side of DataSelf. You can see P&L, balance sheet, cash flow projection, whatnot. In this example, I have a P&L showing a certain period in certain year periods, my numbers. And commonly, when people are looking at their P&L and balance sheet, sometimes they see a number that they are curious why this number is too high or too low. And then they want to go into the details. With DataSelf, that possibility to go from the top to the intermediate to the most granular level is very straightforward. Let's say that I look at the salaries here in this number. I don't want to learn more about it. I just click on it. I still see my P&L where I started my analysis, but at the bottom now I see all the GL transaction details of that particular data point. You see that they match is because that's exactly what I'm looking for. If I look for the second period, just click on it. I change to the second period and the numbers are matching. Maybe I actually want to see the whole line. I click the whole line, and now if you see the bottom, I have everything for month 1 and 2. And the total is matching the total. Maybe you want to see the whole cost of goods sold. You select the whole thing. And now, if you look at the bottom, let me just scroll down. The bottom, you'll see that all the transactions that are here add up to the total cost of goods sold. And then I could quickly see from the P&L any data point and click, drill down, slice and dice it to find why my numbers are the way that they are. Very empowering, just point and click. All right, I kind of showed you so far the tabular, we call the simpler analysis to look at the numbers and follow. What I'm going to show you now is a little bit more sophisticated, but for many business people, it's amazingly insightful. This dashboard, the year-over-year dashboard, is actually the #1 most popular in our client base, primarily because it shows you what's happening this year, let's say this period, this quarter, the year to date, or maybe a few periods in this year. And you can also compare them versus the same period last year, which is a very common way of analyzing business, seeing how you're doing versus the same period last year. Anyhow, the way you select the period is by choosing this drop down. Right now I'm choosing 2022. In what periods you want to analyze? Let me choose year to date through period 9, you press apply. Now, by doing so, what I'm getting here in this whole kind of little busy dashboard, well, telescope first. This is the big numbers, the total sales this year to date in this case, sales last year to date, in the variance in dollar and percentage amount. So big number, the telescope. Then I'm drilling down visually into more granular information. In this case, I'm looking at the dark blue this year, light blue last year, and I see the breakdown by period and see kind of trend analysis over time. You see that where I'm growing since last year. To the next widget, I actually looking the same information, but now from a geography perspective, where the size of the bubble is this year's sales, Black means it's growing since last year to date in this example. In red is declining. So let's say Texas, you see all the numbers, and we have a growth of 2%. If you look at New Jersey, also all the numbers, and a decline of 1%. So visually you can tell the good and the bad of the sales analysis from a geography standpoint. On the right side, out of the box, we have customers and items, and then I see sales last year, sales this year, and the variance. Now that I understand the big picture, the telescope of my sales from all of these data points, and I'll show how to customize in a bit, but let's say that I'm happy with this dashboard. As a business user, as a salesperson, as a VP of sales, I usually gonna wanna analyze the outliers, something really good or really bad, and what's happening. Like in this example, Marina Golf, it has a major sales decline since last year. What's happening with this customer? Maybe nobody knew anything about it. I can just click on this particular data point, and the tool will automatically now go from the very big picture and start to go into more details. So right now, this is the total analysis for this customer only, Marina Golf, trend analysis for Marina Golf, where I'm shipping the products or the customer address, and all the items that have been sold to them in those 2 periods. Now, when I look at the product analysis, I see that these 3 items have a major decline. They're pretty much driving the decline. What's happening? I can now check only those 3 items. And again, now my dashboard is further filtered. Only for Marina Golf, only for these 3 items, the totals, the trend analysis, and the ship to. Now, with DataSelf, the ability to slice and dice it, drill down, drill across is very powerful. But at some point, quite often, people want to go to the microscope approach. So in this case, I'm going to put my mouse over those products and I'm going to click Show Me the Details. And now I left the telescope and I went into the microscope, and I can see every invoice number, invoice date, the items, the customer, the quantity, every detail of those transactions is here. And all of this can be customized. I mean, this is a summary of the details. If you want to see all the columns of your sales invoice line, it can be brought over. And once you do this, it takes, again, a couple of clicks to export the data to Excel or to PowerPoint in case you want to. But this ability to actually take a dashboard or report from the telescope view, slice and dice it, drill down, it's amazingly powerful for business users. Everything that I showed you so far is the business user experience. What I'm going to show you next is some ways to customize the report designer that many business users will not do it because they are too busy, they don't want to learn. But we have many business users that find report design amazingly empowering and easy. I'm going to show how to make some easy customizations using the report designer that is usually more for business analysts. So let's say there's a business user. I actually don't care about customers. Let's say I sell to retail. I don't care. I care about sales by city instead. How can I change this widget to show sales by city? Well, I need the edit button that only business analysts or people who have the editing rights will have access to. Let's say I'm a business person, but I have editing rights. I'm going to click the edit button. I go to the report editor that for some people is too much, but for many it's simple enough. And I want to customize this widget. So let me go straight into the settings of this widget. And right now, as you can tell, there's a lot more things around. And here I see all the sales parameters or dimensions for my sales analysis. Well, I want to get customer city and replace in the rows where the customer was. So just replace it, drag and drop. And now the report became a customer city report instead. I'm going to sort descending order. And that's it. In a few clicks, I changed that widget. Instead of being a customer widget, now is a customer city widget. So making some changes is that easy. If you know how to drag and drop, you can do it. Even building new reports from scratch using the report editor is something that many business users will do. Let me show you a quick example. I'm going to right click and create a new worksheet. I'm going to do a revenues analysis, and I want to see sales by salesperson this month. So how can I do it? Well, drag and drop. I find the customer name, put in my rows. These are my customers. I want to see sales. There it is. Drag and drop in the report. So sales by customer. Let me start descending so I see my top customers at the top of the list. All right. Now I want to see by this month. So let me put invoice date and see what happens. Put in my columns. Beautiful. Show me all the years in business, total sales by the year. I don't want to see our other years. Let me just filter and just show 2022. So just I create a filter and say just 2022. All right, sales by customer in 2022, but I only want to see by month. How can I get to the month level? I can click the plus in the year. It will go to the quarter. I can click the plus in the quarter and it goes to the month. Nice. All right, so let me make a filter of my month. So I'm going to say show month as a filter. And I only want to see, let's say, September. That's it. Drag and drop. I can see sales by customer in September. And now if I want to select more periods, more years, let's say what happened last year, same period, right? I just pick 2 years and I see September side by side. Or what if I want to break down by some more details, like I was doing with the slicer, but now I have access to everything. I want to see product line. You bring product line. There it is, sales by customer by product line. And maybe I want to also bring, quantity sold. I drag and drop quantity sold in my report. And I would put as a measure on the top. So quantity sold in sales, maybe I want to see gross profit percentage. Pretty much, if you know how to drag and drop, you can do it. And that's the power of giving business users the ability to find answers to their questions now, anywhere, anytime, without calling for assistance. That was my part. Don, back to you.
Thanks, Joni. What really impresses me about the DataSelf solution is the fact that although it brings you typically in at the management level view of what's going on within an organization, with just a few clicks and with that infinite drill down, you can actually get down to the transactional level details. So if that level of detail is required by a manager or executive, it's always there at their fingertips. Now, with that, I think it's safe to assume that most people, or at least a lot of people, will think that this functionality is great, but it's way beyond me price-wise. In fact, I think people are surprised to find out that DataSelf Analytics is so affordable. We have 3 basic tiers of licensing and pricing, referred to as the Advanced, Professional, and Enterprise Edition. DataSelf Analytics and everything that you just saw through Joni's demo can be had for as little as just under $400 a month with the Advanced Edition. One of the aspects of our pricing structure is that each of those tiers can be broken down into individual components. And so we allow customers to buy only those features that they really require. And so full details of the pricing tiers and their components are available from the DataSelf website, dataself.com. And we encourage people to go there not only to check out all of the details about pricing, but also to try out DataSelf Analytics for themselves, because a free, fully functional version of DataSelf is available. If you need assistance in terms of configuring it, we'll be here to help you. But we go by the mantra, try it, and we think you'll like it. And with that, I'm going to open up the lines for any questions that may have come in from our audience. I see 2 questions initially. One is, on average, how long does it take to get the DataSelf solution up and running?
Then I'll take the question. The out-of-the-box deployment, once the commercial side has been resolved, settled, is usually under 1 hour. Primarily, we have to take our ETL tool and give it access to your ERP or CRM system. That's usually an IT conversation away, and installing if it requires something in our system. Typically, within 1 hour from the beginning, the system will be connected, will be authenticated, and will start to extract the data into the DataSelf cloud or on-premises server. So the effort is short. Usually within minutes, hours, maybe sometimes even days, if you have lots of data, the data will be ready for some consumption. The out-of-the-box deployment comes with a pre-configured setting, so you'll see some data right off the box. But usually we tell people that anytime you get a new report or new reporting platform, you need to validate the data. Be sure that the data, the business logic running the report is matching with your current settings. So in practical terms, usually takes days and maybe a couple of weeks or so to validate the data and go to production. So the actual deployment is 1 hour. Quality assurance, which every reporting platform requires, can take a few days or a couple of weeks, and that's usually when the system goes live in production.
Perfect. And the second question we've received thus far has to do with the deployment environment. Is DataSelf purely a cloud-based solution? Can it be implemented on-prem? What are the details there?
We have we call the Lego block approach. Whatever the client needs, if they need completely in the cloud, we can do everything in the cloud. Some clients want everything behind the firewall. We can bring all the Lego blocks behind the firewall. And we have many clients that make a hybrid, some pieces in the data warehouse. Some pieces on premises, some pieces in the cloud. So we have a technology that is modern and has been designed to adapt to the needs of each individual customer.
Perfect. Thank you. I don't see any other questions from our audience, and I see that we're just about out of time, so I'll move to our wrap-up. And on behalf of Joni Girardi, I'm Don Farber. Thank you very much for attending this webinar on DataSelf Analytics for your ERP solution. Do note that we provide monthly webinars, and next month will be a deeper dive into the DataSelf technology specifically for your business analysts. And again, you can go to the DataSelf website to see the content and topics of upcoming webinars. So once again, thank you very much for your time and your interest in the DataSelf Analytics solution. And we very much look forward to working with you. Thanks again.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.